Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon. I'll be the host. I'm taking over today. It's me, Magical. Joined in by the two that will be the casters today, all the way on the far. What is that to you guys? Left, right, whatever. It's going to be Mazel and Cubby, and then we have special guest Avril. So I'm going to let Avril take the stage first.
Hi. Sorry.
I was about to say, no, I was about to say, is that all you got for me?
No.
Tell us a little bit more about you.
Oh, well, if you don't know who I am Cloud9 Avril, and I am a content creator for Cloud9, but I recently have had this urge, and from recent life events have put me to aspiring to go pro in League of Legends. And yeah, that's me.
Hey, that's awesome. It's good to hear that, Avril. As well, like I said, I'm joined in by Mazel and Cubby for today.
You took my spot, Magical. Gosh.
You took my spot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, speaking of spots, I gotta ask, Avril, did you sneak back in the Challenger last night? Were you above the floor? You back in?
Let's not talk about that. I kind of.
Okay. It was close. It was close. It was close.
Well, you know what is close is this bracket. We have a lot of fun games that have happened so far. But when we look at the upper bracket to start all this off with this tournament so far for Proving Grounds, it hasn't been quite as close in the upper bracket.
It's been a lot of academy teams kind of taking over, especially against the amateur matchups. As of course, in this tournament, every single first matchup that a team played was academy versus amateur. And we saw in the upper bracket, amateur teams went 1-20 against our academy squads. But hey, at least we saw one upset there on the top side as Immortals took down COG. We'll see them in our second series today. And we're hoping to see more and more upsets throughout the entire tournament. And to be fair, we have been seeing some this week in the lower brackets. Some amateur teams have had some success.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, if we look at the lower bracket, that's where the upsets have been. That's where the craziness has transpired. And for you, Avril, I want to kind of get your opinion on how things have played out for you when watching the Proving Ground.
Oh my God. The one team I've been rooting for with my whole heart is team No NFT. And unfortunately, they got knocked out the first game of the Proving Grounds, and I got really sad.
Yeah, it's okay. I think a lot of us did. We all were, everyone likes to root for an underdog, always look for those fun stories. But we have to look across the board as well, because we did have teams like Immortals AoE and Taco Gaming taking down academy teams. The first time we've had that in this entire season, this entire bracket so far. It has been outstanding to see these performances from these up-and-coming players.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is like seeing TSM Academy and EG Academy drop in the first round of the lower bracket. That is not where they wanted to be, even if they are the last place teams in the regular season. So loving seeing a little bit of fight in that lower bracket from the amateur squads as well.
And, speaking of teams that got knocked out, we have to look at what happened yesterday. We did have a couple more teams falling. We have to offer them a eulogy, especially for players that really stood out. Doxa is a big one that stood out for me when I'm looking at how this player was able to play. Avril, give me some thoughts on Doxa here. Is it a Doxa diff?
It is a Doxa diff. This guy is so cracked, and I don't know how this guy's not on an LCS team yet. I'm not going to lie.
I think a lot of people hold that same sentiment. Wouldn't you agree, Cubby?
Doxa is someone that, like, the fun part about Doxa is that he's just this pop-off player. Like, he will play the assassins. He has no fear. And, watching this raw pop-off player in amateur when we do have so many fights, it just gives Doxa so many looks where he is able to shine. I feel like he had some of those moments in this tournament. The 10-1-3 Zed game, helping them overcome the first amateur upset over an academy team, by the way, was Taco Gaming's win in that series. Doxa was huge being a part of that. And it's a name that we'll be seeing throughout collegiate, as he's going to be competing as a marksman for St. Louis University, and hopefully one that we see back here on the Proving Ground stage, whether that is him being on an academy or amateur team. Always really fun to see Doxa.
I was going to say, just one last little bit is like his attitude, the way that he approaches the game, the way that he tries to improve himself. It's incredible. I can't wait to see more of him.
That's what I always love about these amateur players and how their stories are, because you can tell they really have the heart and desire to make it big, to make it to the pros, and they are putting that effort in. And speaking of putting that effort in, we got to now transition to our other team that got eliminated. Evil Geniuses Prodigies, Faisal's top laner. That was the one that really everyone was looking at that entire time, saying this is a player that you have to fear, and he did have those moments.
I think that, all the LCS third teams, we'll see the other two in action today. I think they all got their top laners right. I think that every top laner, I mean, Sniper is the giant standout, and rightfully so, but I think Faisal, Anime Girl are also very strong. And Faisal, the one thing I really like about him is that he is this amateur player that has flexibility. The carries that he is able to play and is able to, feel comfortable pulling out. We're going to see a Jace highlight here, but even his Camille yesterday almost brought EGP back into that second game where they did eventually fall to the side of FlyQuest. But I thought Faisal was really good on the tanks and the carries, and he's someone that I'm also really excited to see more out of as his career continues.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see more of him in the summer proving grounds. But for now, we got to transition to what's happening today. We have some exciting matchups starting off with the Civil War for 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves Academy and 100 Thieves Next. Both these teams probably would have expected to be meeting in the upper bracket, but here they are, elimination match where they now face off against one another. Giselle, I want you to talk to me a little bit about this matchup.
It just shows so much about the developmental pipeline for 100 Thieves and the way that they kind of approach the game and the way that they approach development itself. It is competitive, and obviously the organization loves every single one of these 10 players, but these are the spots, man. Like, the amateur team, 100 Thieves Next, is trying to win these spots over from the academy team, and there's a lot to show tonight.
And Cubby, this has happened before, hasn't it?
I mean, it's just the history of 100 Next, right? This was the first LCS organization to get involved in amateur. The first crop of players we saw, all 6 of them are still on or academy or LCS squads. The only one that was not is now Osama, but I mean, we think of Yawn, we think of Copy, we think of Tenacity, Kenby. This was an elite pipeline. And honestly, last year for 100 Next, I feel like they did bring it back in summer. The fact that 2 of their members, Chad and Gamsu, helped them win Proving Grounds was huge, but I think the class this year is almost as exciting as that class from 2020. And the fact that we get to see them compete now against their academy squad, I know that Civil War is slightly bittersweet, but it is one that is always exciting for us as a viewer, and I guess we just get a front row seat to all the talent that 100 Thieves has, even if it is in lower bracket. I am still excited to see them go head-to-head today.
Oh, I am too. Looking at both these teams, I think both of them are phenomenal and definitely didn't have the performances they'd expected when they were drafted. But you look over to 100 Thieves Academy, and I gotta say, I'm excited for them as well, facing off, because they have some young talent
My
through the
dark
pipeline
horse.
that came. Right there, I mean, they're your dark horse. Mine is Immortals AoE. That's going to be later. And speaking of later, we should look at the schedule for the day, because we do have 2 best-of-3 matches that we get to watch here in the lower bracket. More of these elimination matches. Everything relies on just this one day if they continue their surge through the Proving Grounds powered by Verizon.
I think obviously looking ahead at the series today, it's bangers across the board. It feels like you got the first place academy team, first seed in Proving Grounds in the lower bracket there too, going against Immortals AoE, who I guess technically we have two amateur teams still in the running in the lower bracket, which is always a fun one. It is elimination day though.
It is.
I'm just curious what our guest Avril thinks. I know we you being the marksman connoisseur yourselves, we got some pretty exciting marksmen going toe to toe today.
Oh my god, I cannot see to wait. I cannot see to wait. I cannot wait to see a Ray play. And honestly, the attention you guys are bringing is to 100X and versus 100A, and I totally understand that. But honestly, I'm actually really excited to see IMA versus CLG too, because IMA's roster is really good, and I do know that like CLG is kind of on a downward spiral, so they also have this like story that they want to they have to win this game too, and it's like a really nice narrative for us to have today.
Yeah, and we'll get into that more later. But we gotta give some shout outs to our socials, so make sure you're following at Path to LCS so you can keep up to date with everything that is going on throughout this entire Proving Grounds powered by Verizon. You can see it right down below, so make sure you give it a follow over on Twitter. But you know what? I feel like we're getting into that point when we should start getting ready for the games, the first matchup of the day. So why don't we toss it to a break, then get ourselves prepared, and we'll be all set. So make sure you stay tuned. I told you guys we'd be back. It wasn't a very long break now, was it? We're here, we're ready, we're getting it set for our first best of 3 matchup today. Should be a lot of fun because we start off with the Civil War. This is absolutely fantastic to have as the first match. Wouldn't you agree, Mazel?
I absolutely am so excited. You can have all the Marvel puns you could ever want in this one, but it is all about the action today. It's all about elimination. And it's all about seeing who has what it takes in the 100 Thieves developmental cycle to really show up in the moment.
Well, and speaking of the 100 Thieves cycle, we got to look first at the Academy roster because that's the one that is technically a step ahead of the 100 Thieves next. You have players like Kenvi who have gone through the cycle, who've worked their ways up. Same with Busio. They're in the supportive role. So, Cubby, talk to us a little bit about the context of these players and what you think of them and their journeys.
I know that you said that, we weren't really expecting this matchup to be in the lower bracket, but frankly, I was expecting 100 Thieves to be here. They lost to Golden Guardians Academy. They're one of the tournament favorites that we have, I think, arguably. And I think for 100 Thieves, the good news about their showing in Proving Grounds, it's been the early games they've been putting out have been drastically improved. And I think that Jimian is really stepping up to the occasion, showing how he was this elite mid laner that we had in the PCS, now joining Academy. I think that he's really starting to show some of that mantle and has been a huge reason 100 Thieves Academy has actually found some pretty good success in Proving Grounds so far, even though they are in the lower bracket.
Especially as Silas. Silas has been
It's
really
so
disgusting
dirty,
to
man.
watch.
It's so
Yeah.
dirty.
Oh my god. Against my
Yeah, it just-
team.
Oh, I know, Avril. I know.
No.
It was a brutal one to watch for a lot of people. They definitely took that one all the way to the bank, and you can see it continues. It just continues with all these plays. So, Avril, because you were complaining about them beating your team, crushing them, in fact, what are your thoughts on 100 Thieves next? 100 Thieves Academy, sorry.
I am very scared of their roster, but then again, 100X's roster is also disgustingly scary, especially with Sniper and Array, of course. So this matchup is going to be so close. I'm so excited to watch. I just want to get into it right now.
Yeah, and look at this. Some fun facts from Jimian. This is the player we really are focused on because he has really been popping off in Proving Grounds powered by Verizon. We've seen how well he's grown over the year, too, having come in from the PCS. Was second in the MVP vote behind Doggo, third place with Machi. Really cool stuff, and I will say...
It's the last one. It's the last one that stands out.
Put it
I'm
in the
with you,
fridge.
Jimian.
Yeah.
I don't like those ones as much. That's funny. I like the regular ones with cheese. That's how I am.
I've never had them. Sugar's the enemy, but if it's working for Jimian, maybe I should try it out because whatever's going into that guy's diet and this guy's Silas play, I think it's been a big standout. And I did want to, I mentioned the early games for 100 Thieves Academy. They're leading, or they're second, I should say, in the tournament in gold diff at 15. It's like 3,500 over that. They've been putting up big early games. I know they faced 2 amateur squads, and that is where they found their wins. But even in that series, they dropped to GGA. I think that game, too, they put up a really strong fight. And I think the big narrative about this team is that they've leveled up, much like FlyQuest, like we saw yesterday. It's a team that their standing, their placement in the Academy regular season, it's not indicative of their play now. They are playing better League of Legends, and they're going to need to bring it today, going up against the amateur squad and the top amateur team that we have in this tournament in 100 Thieves next.
And that's what I was about to say. I'm like, you got to take it to your sister team here in 100 next because, as Avril was saying, Sniper is a very exciting player to watch, but so is Array down there in the bot lane. We look at these players and how they really function. So, Avril, I want you to have the floor here. Who would you rather talk about, Sniper or Array?
I mean,
no.
honestly, Sniper is a very good player, and on a regular day, I would say Sniper because, I mean, everyone is hyping him up for a reason. I mean, the whole roster was built around him, essentially. But I think it's good to have some balance between, who gets the attention sometimes because, hey, Array needs some too sometimes.
Well, also, it's you as a marksman player yourself, you also have that advantage to really be able to dive deep into how Array's gameplay has been so far.
That's very true. I kind of forgot I played League of Legends too. And oh my god.
Someone who's pretty much in Challenger saying this? Yeah.
Yes. An amazing Jinx play. I love this meta so much. But really, her spacing here is pretty good and not to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and Cubby, I feel like you have some thoughts as well. I heard you try to chirp up a little bit.
I think that Array, and a lot of it's just the identity of 100 Thieves next. This is an elite team fighting team. It feels weird saying that, as an amateur squad, but there are things that are outliers for this team as an amateur squad. You have Insanity, a former LCS player in the mid lane. Sniper, he can't even play in Academy. He's too young, but he's the #1 ranked player on the ladder. Fnatic, someone that I believe is an Academy level jungler, very good player, very good team leader. And I think that, this team, they are the top amateur squad that we have in PG for a reason. And I'm really hoping they step up and show it today. They found a lot of their success through team fights, and a lot of that is how well they play team fights as a squad, specifically Sniper and Array. I think that's where their games really shine. When they get in the 5v5, Array's positioning is always rock solid.
And it's only his second year playing competitively, right? He's also part of the 6-3 club. I know you have something to say about that, Magical, but I'm standing you, Array.
Short.
But in all actuality, right, like, there's some pretty big names on this 100 Next roster, right?
Yeah.
You even have Fnatic in the jungle, which I think is huge just with the track record he's had in amateur itself. So a lot of stability brings a lot of boons, it feels like.
I just like, too, how, like, Tomo, for his fun fact, he had that he's 6'2", and now Array, he's like, no, I'm 6'3". So, I don't know, maybe maybe we should have listed your height, Avril, when it came to, like, AD or, like, player announcements.
Maybe.
That would have been funny.
Are you like, secretly 6'5"?
Yeah, but no, I'm not. But, but honestly, I also wanted to bring up like how he used to buy groceries, and I noticed a lot of league players don't work jobs before they pursue a pro career, and that actually I feel like it, because I personally have experience in that. I used to work a horrible minimum wage job before I decided to go pro, and that's the reason why I decided to go pro. And I feel like people that have gone through life experiences like that also have a different kind of viewpoint on how they want to take their career, and they have a more motivation honestly. Maybe that's just
As
from
someone
personal
who-
experience.
Hey, as someone who worked 10 years plus as a manager in a sushi bar, definitely can understand the frustration of it all. But you know what? I want to keep this moving forward, and we have a really awesome clip. There's an upcoming piece that we're working on currently, and we sat down with Papa Smithy, and I believe we sat down with
Andrew Barton.
There we go. Thank you, Andrew
Yeah.
Barton, for an interview. And during the interview, we had some predictions about how they thought this series was going to go. So let's hear it from them.
Yeah, asking me for a prediction tomorrow, Smacks. Is that my hard question?
Oh, yeah.
That's a
I
good
didn't
one.
even think about that. Yeah, who's going to win the Civil War for 100 Thieves?
I think that it felt like it was a pretty clear answer. Obviously, Next had been dominating at the amateur level, and they'd been doing well in academy scrims when they had the opportunity to. So I think 3 weeks ago, I would have said 100X is the favorite. I think my academy team, ever since we closed regular season, has been really burning the midnight oil to level up. So right now, I'm confident it's going to be a 3-game series tomorrow. If I had to predict, I'd have it 2-1 to Academy, but it's going to be a banger. You definitely do not want to miss the 100 Thieves all-kill Civil War angle that we have going on tomorrow. That's for sure.
I will definitely go with 100 Thieves next on this one. So
Oh, there you
2-1,
go.
100 Thieves next.
All right.
A banger. That's what's
yeah.
expected. I'm happy for that one. But Covey, I heard you have a nice quote for us from Busio as well.
Well, I just like, Andrew, like the true live evil angle, the GM of EG, just like, you know what? You say 100 Thieves Academy, I'm going to take your amateur squad at the 2-1. But we are expecting a close series. And, I like what Papa Smithy was referencing there with the improvement, 100 Thieves Academy. I teased their gold diff at 15, in Proving Grounds being over 3,000 gold up on average. In Academy regular season, they were averaging being down gold. I think they were 7th in the standings in gold diff at 15. And talking with Busio, a lot of them leveling up, he feels like it's been, just individual play. Crediting Joseph Jeng a lot, one of their analysts behind the scenes, just individual coaching. Really, as Pop Smithy said, burning the midnight oil, making sure they're spending that extra time with the staff to make sure that their play is ready to go for this tournament. I think it's shown so far. Let's see if it can show today against their sister team.
Only one way to find that out, Cubby. That is it for me, for the first time, to toss it to both you and Mazel to cast. You get to take this, Mazel. This is all your time. Instead of tossing to me, I'm tossing to you. Have fun with this series, you guys, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yay! I get to take it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Magical. Thank you, Avril. We'll get your thoughts afterwards. But my goodness, for the first time here, Covey, I'm so excited. It's been a long time. We're going to be getting into Champion Select for this civil war between 100 Thieves Academy and 100 Thieves Next.
Yeah, I know. You've been burning all the LPL hours. Hopefully we get a series that's as bloody as some of the ones that you have over there. But yeah, teeing off into this one, we do have 100 Thieves Academy on the blue side for this first game. And I specifically, I was really kind of looking at this jungle matchup because I think that there is a bit of overlap in the pools, specifically the Viego. And it's something that I would not be surprised if we have first picked by the side of 100 Thieves, just given the fact that it is Kennedy's most played this season, but also Fnatic. We've had some pretty filthy numbers coming out of 100 Thieves Next, just them being an amateur squad and dominating. They were 26-1 in amateur before they dropped to Maryville. So Fnatic's Viego, it's the second most played. It's 8-0. So that's one pick that's very contested. I think it fits the team fighting identity of 100 Thieves Next very well. Would not be surprised to see Fnatic hop on it and maybe have that traded around for the Volibear.
I do still feel like there's a lot of obviously skirmish heavy junglers that both of these junglers are going to be wanting to vie for. The Hecarim taking off the board. I love that the Ahri was taken off the board specifically against Jimmy and Insanity, but we're getting some marksmans locked in, at least to start us off. Jinx, tried and true for 100 Thieves Academy there on that blue side, hovering over the Lucian, but it's going to be quickly switched over to the Lee Sin, and we'll be locked in for Insanity.
So that Lee Sin, it's partly denied from Kenby. That's his second most played. He's 5-1 on Lee Sin throughout both Academy and PG play. It's something that's really good for him. And then actually the deny of the Xayah is big. That's been Wixie's most played throughout the tournament. We've seen Xayah really emerge in the meta. So Array quickly hopping in on that one. And that, leaves us to think what happens with the Rakan. It's been a really big pick for Busio, and we'll see if Sword takes that away as well.
The combination is so huge, but Rakan himself, I feel like, just fits this meta so well with the push and pull that he can give. But it is the insta lock-in of the Tom Kench following the Viego pickup for 100 Thieves Academy.
And I'm expecting Rakan or Rel here for the side of 100 Thieves next. I think that you just match support. And overall for 100 Thieves Academy, it's actually a pretty sound identity in terms of team fight. You have Jinx, you have this Tom Kench, you can try and get that first kill, get the resets for both Jinx and Viego. Something that 100 Thieves Next will now have to play around. They have that Lee Sin to try and displace people, try and push them around in the fight. And now, instead of going for that Rakan, getting that combo, they're going to take the Nautilus. So prioritizing that depth charge, that point-and-click CC.
Yeah, definitely makes it a little difficult to pick that one up when it is banned. Just now seeing that one myself.
Oh.
It was blocked by my microphone arm, like right in the bottom corner of my monitor.
We don't usually see Rakan bans.
It's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. But it is that Nautilus, the forward engage, the at least initiation to be followed up on by the combination of the Lisa and Xayah sets you up super nicely, at least for 100 Thieves Next. But you're looking at the second phase of bans. We already get the Aurelia banned away against Sniper. You also get the Ornn banned here. So a little bit of that strength, a little bit of that tankiness being taken away by the next squad.
Maybe 100 Thieves Next are setting up for a blind chase. I mean, it is Sniper. You gotta give the counter picks, but with all the top lane bans being removed, I think that Sniper, his Jace, it's been his most played. It's 9-1. He's a decent laner, but I think where Sniper really shines as a player, it's wild to think about this as a kid so young, so talented. He's so good in the team fights. His ability to read when to hop in, when to do damage. I feel like Sniper is an elite level player when it comes to this, and with the 4 top lane bans usually we see mid lane blinded here, but I would not be surprised if we see a Jace picked up by 100 Thieves Next. I think the poke's really good into the Jinx Viego. And
it's banned away too, Cubby.
Maybe they feel the pressure. Oh, it is.
It is banned away. We get the LeBlanc, though, for Insanity.
There's the poke.
Pretty instant lock-in on that second phase pickup for them. And yeah, as you said, the combination of Lee Sin and LeBlanc is already so scary. The one thing is, right, you do need to get off the ground rolling with it, though.
I would not be surprised to see the Rise. It's something that Jimmy's played quite a bit, and I think having that tankier piece into LeBlanc can help you kind of weather the storm and help get the Jinx into the later stages of the game. Speaking of a tankier piece, it's going to be the Gragas for Gamsu. So all the blinds, all the top laners removed. I feel like this is still a really good pick for Gamsu. We can do a lot of work on this.
And I just love when a Gragas player is good, it is so terrifying to play against, especially seeing what Gamsu can whip out on this one, because they can literally force your positioning in every way, shape, or form. The cast plus the body slams and all the barrels as well. So I do like the callback to that Rise being picked up for 100 Thieves Academy. I think it's absolutely huge for Jimmy to be able to get into those side lanes, get rolling after level 6, and it's a decent response to LeBlanc. But as you said, we are now looking at what will Sniper's pick be here in the first one, and it is the Camille.
You get the X-Tech ultimatum, the lockdown, and I think what I like about this for 100 Thieves next is that it feels like they have a lot of early game playmaking. You have this Lee Sin, you have this Nautilus, and we have seen 100 Thieves next be able to get leads early and then bully teams with the team fighting ability they have later. But for 100 Thieves Academy, how we set up the series, a lot of it was crediting their early games. They've had some dynamite early games throughout Proving Grounds in I should say the series that they have played so far. This is a team composition where it's very much lower engage. A lot of your engage is coming from Gamsu on the top side and waiting to get to the 2-item spot where that Jinx really starts to take over. They're going to be under pressure early, and I want to see if 100 Thieves next, the amateur squad, can take that onus, take that priority they're going to have in some of these lanes, and make plays.
And that's something that we were talking about beforehand and kind of foreshadowing what we need to see from both of these teams, because to some extent, right, 100 Thieves Academy feel confident and comfortable getting an early advantage, snowballing that into a mid to late game lead and kind of choke holding people out. But 100 Thieves next, they have to find that early game, and they have definitely opted into that one here, where you see some of that reservedness coming out from the composition of 100 Thieves Academy. I think it's very dueling prospects coming into this one, but all eyes on 100 Thieves next to really get something going, get Fnatic into these lanes and find an advantage to be able to play off of, Cubby.
And I mean, the other big one with that is when we think about 100 Thieves next, and I spoke with Fnatic before the series, and I think it was interesting talking with Fan. I asked him, was like, hey, you guys got 2-0'd by FlyQuest, what'd you learn from that? And what Fnatic said is, I think we changed up our priority, the way we play. And when I look at the mid lane pool that they played against FlyQuest, it was Victor Corki in those 2 games for Insanity. Since then, Ari LeBlanc in the series against Winthrop, and now with LeBlanc here. So maybe that big adaptation was focusing on this mid-jungle duo, because when you have Lisa and LeBlanc, it's all about mid-jungle. Can you get that LeBlanc a lead and get her to shift it to the other lanes? I feel like that's going to be the game plan early here for 100 next, and want to see if they can set up around Insanity and take advantage of this combo they have in the mid lane.
We will have to see as the Civil War kicks off. 100 Thieves Academy versus 100 Thieves next, as the spot in Proving Grounds on the line, reputation with the organization on the line, and just all the competition you could ever ask for. The 100 Thieves next team try to vie for these spots that the Academy team is holding already.
And I know it's something that, especially for a player like Fnatic, I mentioned that, I believe Fnatic is an Academy level player. I think Array as well. Like, when you are on 100 Thieves next in this team, I mean, for a lot of these players, it does feel like, they were the first players maybe passed up on when it comes to those Academy spots. And I know how much it would mean for these guys to, prove that on the amateur team, even with how strong 100 Thieves next is and the high expectations we had for this roster coming into the tournament. Keep in mind, we had people saying, I think 100X can top 4. And now with them in the lower bracket, they would have to take down the Academy squad of their own organization to fulfill some of the expectations that people had for this squad. Now, we didn't have those expectations for a reason, and we'll have to see if they can step up to the challenge, as I'm excited to see if they can really execute this early game. It feels like a different vibe from 100 Thieves next. Usually we see them wait for the 15-minute fights. This is not waiting at all when you take a combo like these in the LeBlanc.
Yeah, you literally cannot afford to wait. You need to be getting some of those pages. I mean, maybe you should stop in at your local library for Insanity and get some Magi stacks themselves. But again, I want to go back to something we kind of touched on before the series started itself, and like where our big focuses are going to be. You were talking about how much you loved seeing Jimmy improve and really come into his own on 100 Thieves Academy itself. And when you're looking at the dueling spotlights, right, it is a little bit different because Sniper takes the spotlight on 100 Thieves next. And I think when you're looking at these two players, yes, in differing roles, they still have the same carry potential for the both of them.
Yeah, I think the solo lane focus for both of these teams, it's a little bit different. I mean, it's hard for us not to talk about Sniper, given the age and the pedigree that this player comes in with. But I think with Jimmy, that's been the real pleasure of this tournament. Watching Jimmy, be that individual player that we knew Jimmy could be coming into the split. He's been someone that I think has really stepped up to the occasion in this tournament. We teased the Silas specifically. We'll see if he can find success on the rise, one of his most played champs for this season. It's one where if he's able to get out of lane, he could try and match the LeBlanc and try and match some of the power we're going to be seeing out of 100 Thieves next early. But I'm going to catch up on some of the jungle clears, Mazel, because it looks like pretty standard, just having mirrored clears from each of these junglers. And should be crabs being taken, as Kenby's at least spotted. Make sure that Fnatic should be okay here on the top side, but Kenvi actually skipping over that crab might be setting up for a dive here.
They have a huge wave down here. Will be spotted out though. Pings coming out as well. Array with the feather recall there, but a lot of stunning going down. And Busio's in some trouble here. Does go back in with the abyssal dive. First blood goes over to 100 Thieves Academy, but it is a shenanigan fest here as it ends up in a 2-for-1 in favor of Academy, but at least a trade going back to next.
Yeah, and mid lane. So I think Jimmy, and I don't know how the flash was burned, but Insanity, he was channeling the TP to join bot. It got canceled by the empowered rune prison of Jimmy. So a big deal there. That the fact that LeBlanc wasn't able to come help and a successful dive. We talked about how 100 Thieves Academy, the early games have been so good, much improved, and even in a draft where we say that there are more of the scaling team, they're still the ones that take the onus, find the play, make it work against.
Look at this though. We're getting the roams started early. We've got Sword over here joining Fnatic. This is what I was gonna say though. If you have somebody that's gonna bring you back, or if you have some veterancy on your team, it's gonna come from Fnatic and Insanity. And I think seeing these two players link up, even with all the spotlight going to Sniper, is somewhere where 100 Thieves Next in this game specifically, in the way that the comps have leaned out, where they need to put the focus on.
Especially now, given that dive being set up very successfully by 100 Thieves Academy. Look at the CS bot. Array down 3 waves almost this early, just given the resources that was denied from him as...
Oof. Getting the chain connection there. I didn't know if it was actually going to connect, but as you said, a huge lead for 100 Thieves Academy. And that's something for 100 Thieves Academy. We've seen Busio and Wixie, when they get a lead, Busio's ruthless. And as we see, does not connect the abyssal dive this time. We do see Kenvi fully committing, and Array has to flash away. Luckily, Fnatic is right there to save him. Blade Caller does come back. It's still 100 Thieves as a total, putting so much focus in this bottom lane.
And I like this from 100 Thieves, the revisits. Once you get summoner spells down, the fact that they are trying to get up in the face and punish the fact that flashes are missing on the side of 100 Thieves Next. I think it's just textbook gameplay coming out of 100 Thieves Academy. And good to see from Kenvi, someone that I personally think has actually been playing very well in Academy, someone that is still one of the most hyped prospects that we have in all of Academy, even despite 100 Thieves' standing and record. He's still playing the skirmishes really well. I feel like what was just missing from this team was kind of that leadership, that direction that they had. And I think that's been the most exciting part about 100 Thieves Academy in this tournament, is that it feels like they have some of that direction back. And it's good to see them implement that early into this series, as I think attacking bot, playing around this Jinx, it's already bared some fruit for 100 Thieves Academy, and we'll see if it continues.
It has indeed, and obvious a lot of jungle attention that way early on. I did like to see the supports getting on the roam timers at least earlier though, and see if that continues. We are going to get to that level 6 mark now, Jimmy, and with the Realm Warp, gotta see how that side lane pressure works, right? We wanted to see 100 Thieves Next get that early advantage. Ooh, Gamsu going for it. Cask over though, and the stun connects onto Sniper. Sniper in some trouble here, but Kenvi not level 6 yet, doesn't have the Heartbreaker.
And I love that play from 100 Thieves Academy, because look at Sniper in the top right. He burned his TP to get back to the lane, so that's missing now. And they chunked him out heavily. That lane's now frozen in favor of Gamsu. It's going to be really tough for Sniper to walk up. And meanwhile, mid, they're still fishing on Jimmy in.
They connect the Sonic Wave, though. Not a lot of damage to follow it up. Flash from Fnatic will get him away from the stun for Kenvi. Nice timing from both of these junglers. But Array, he's trapped on the other side of the Chompers, and he goes down to Wixie.
And Busio, he teased that they were getting some extra help from the coaching staff in the 2v2s. He feels like their landing is improved, and man, are they showing that in this first game, as the lead granted to 100 Thieves Academy bot lane by Kenvi. They're now running with it, more kills going over, and 100 Thieves Next haven't been able to answer. We teased that this mid-jungle duo was so important for them, but so many of these chains early have gone wide from Insanity, and the hover there from Kenvi to stop that another attempt on the Jimmy, and 100 Thieves Next haven't been able to find footing on this map, and they find themselves now down 2k gold early.
And you never, first of all, I know everybody's seen, or at least I hope everybody's seen Arcane at this point, but I hope you've been watching this split so far, because Jinx is terrifying no matter which way you look at it, and late game it will destroy team fights. And already having a huge CS differential, already having 2 kills on your belt, Wixie is in a position to absolutely carry.
I like how you're fitting in the sponsor requirements there, Mazel. We got Proving Grounds powered by Horizon, and then Riot Games powered by Arcane, right?
There you go.
That's good stuff. Our contracts are powered by Arcane, so we appreciate Mazel giving the shout outs there.
Hey, at least oh no.
No
Oh
flash.
no, he's stuck again. He's the flame chopper positioning for Wixie is ruthless there, as well as the entire bot lane of 100 Thieves Academy as Busio Wixie come up big again.
Oh man, I feel bad for Avril on the desk. I was so excited to talk about Array, and it's just been a nightmare scenario for this 100 Thieves next bot lane. The focus put on by 100 Thieves Academy is now going to bleed into neutral objectives. It's going to be a dragon being taken. I do want to say, 400 Thieves next. I think Fnatic starting this at 8 minutes, even though Array going down is tragic. This is good for 100 next. They at least are going to get the Rift Herald. And I think the win condition for 100 next now moving forward, given that they haven't been able to get LeBlanc out of this lane and Snowball on the sides, you gotta believe that it lies in the hands of Sniper, getting this Camille head and trying to win the sides from there, Mazel. So I hope this Rift for 100 Thieves next, I have a feeling it's gonna go towards top, and I love the response coming out from 100 Thieves Academy already. Look at Busio and Kenby out of base. Busio was hovering the top side. If Fnatic went for a play there, both him and Kenby would be here to answer. So even in a play that's like doesn't go through from 100 Thieves next, I feel like 100 Thieves Academy, we're already ready to answer, something that I really like seeing out of our Academy squads here.
Absolutely. It's just about that control you're seeing and the individual performances that back that up to an extent, and the rise of 100 Thieves Academy. As I said, they're kind of my dark horse, even if they aren't the darkest of horses. They are in the lower bracket. They do have to make the run, and it starts against this 100 Thieves next roster. Fnatic himself having the Rift Herald, they will have something to say, at least on one of these outer towers, trying to get a little bit of plate gold before that 14-minute mark, Cubby.
And I've got to believe it's going top to Sniper. I mean, just look at the map right now for 100 Thieves next, around 2.5k gold, approaching the 10-minute mark. And 100 Thieves Academy, they're the comp that scales. They have the Jinx, they have the Tahm Kench to protect that Jinx throughout the game. And Wixie, I know someone that, one of the reason that Wixie found himself on 100 Thieves Academy in the offseason, talking with the 100 Thieves staff specifically, it was the team fighting that he brought. They know that Wixie is a fantastic team fighter himself. I know we were hyping up Array a lot, but Wixie, he is the one that's on this Academy squad, and he has all the tools at his disposal to make that big impact that we know Wixie can make in this game as we move forward.
We will see Sword out on the roam yet again towards the mid lane. Obviously, 100 Thieves next, putting a lot of eggs into the mid lane topside basket. Sniper with the beautiful hook shot connection from a mile away. Don't know if he'll still make it out, though. Conqueror procced, and there's the body slam flash. Gamsu picks up the kill.
It was a really nice sidestep down by Sniper, but just too much as Gamsu connects with the E-Flash, and now plates falling both sides of the map for 100 Thieves next. Still no answer for our amateur squad here, Mazel, as it just feels like 100 Thieves Academy, they've had every answer and more.
And it just doesn't seem like they can get anything. Insanity has been keeping up the damage onto Jimmy and in mid lane as we see the trades go down, but you can bend and not break, and 100 Thieves Academy will feel just fine. So Jimmy is comfortable in this kind of situation because he knows as the rise, you know, you get tankier, you start scaling, and it goes your way. 100 Thieves next just need to find an answer. As you said, they've lost a lot of plates on the bottom side. Wixie at this point is so ridiculously strong. He has finished his Gale Force at 11.5 minutes to a serrated Dirk and a tier.
Yeah,
from
if
Array.
we get it, well, to be fair, Array's about to base, but if we get a gold toggle from our wonderful observing team that we have over here at Face It, helping us out.
Yeah,
there we go.
1.7.
Thank you so much. 1.6k gold on the side, almost 1.7. Don't do live math on air. But either way,
Play by play, I round up, all right?
Yeah. A lot of that gold is sitting in his pockets on the Jinx. Now has the Gale Force, and you can see 100 Thieves next. This is their time. They need to make a play with his Rift Herald. They have Insanity freed up. This is the first time we've seen Insanity out of lanes, but Gamsu, I think his Spidey senses are tingling.
Yeah, they're bringing in a bunch of bodies up here. Double body slam connection, though, from Gamsu. Might get the outplay here. Hextech Ultimatum is huge. Here comes Insanity. Insanity gets the kill. He's executed, so it's not traded back. And 100 Thieves next will use this time to take down the tower, but Jinx Rocket, I don't know, it's not going to go hit anybody.
Okay, we're good. All right, so 100 Thieves next. I know Insanity went down. Fortunately for them, it wasn't execute. They needed to make a play. It won't be first brick, but it still is a lot of points, resources, and gold over to the right people. Now, can Array survive?
Nice, a little feather storm there. The blade caller back, but it's not enough to save the day. He goes down to Kenby. Kenby gets killed though. Xayah via Xayah, and it fits so beautifully in a civil war between 100 Thieves and 100 Thieves.
Yeah, just taking down your own champions now too. That's great.
Jimmy
And
gets flashed
Sword.
on by Sword in the chain connection after the
on.
depth charge. He
This is
tries to
good.
cleanse. Oh no, it's not enough, but he's still alive somehow. Busio with the bodyguard. Insanity tries to go under tower, but Jimmy goes golden and survives another day. The prison isn't enough to get him the ignite just enough, though. Maybe the chain connecting onto Busio here and 100 Thieves. Both sides will get out a little bit worse for wear.
Maybe 100 Thieves next can get back out on the map first and pressure this dragon off that extended skirmish. But either way, I do like the attempts, as we are going to get a replay. We're going to take a look. I think the issue with this dive, the fact that chain doesn't connect, it enabled Gamsu to get that two-man body slam off. And this is why things got frisky around the turret. And Insanity, if that dredge line connects, the aggro does go on the Sword and he lives. Unfortunately, is not the case. Found the turret, found the terrain, and the turret ended up finding the block in the end. So at least the approach for 100 Thieves next, I think the one issue that we've really seen out of them this game, Marcel, is just the fact that, this is a comp where we said that usually we see 100 Thieves next wait until the 15-minute mark, then, have 2 items or like an item and a half, and then, start team fighting with their carries. This game, they definitely took a comp where they need to do things early. That was the first proactive play that we've seen out of 100 Thieves next. I think that speaks a lot of credit to how good the game plan was out of 100 Thieves Academy, but also 100 Thieves next just not able to execute this draft until that point where they're starting to find proactive plays, but it's pretty late. They find themselves down 3K gold now.
Yeah, now Wixie has come to the mid lane, which is a terrifying prospect in its own right. He is 3-0. He's a 1.5 items having completed that Gale Force, and we're getting the side lane focus now from 100 Thieves Academy in itself. Jimmy in the bottom lane, and you'll have Gamsu in the top side with a lot of pressure from 100 Thieves Academy itself in the mid lane. So I think 100 Thieves next are going to have to find a way to stop that. Here comes the start of that, at least, as Jimmy gets his Realm Warp stopped by the Dragon Rage kick, and the chain connects. So it'll be a left kill for Insanity, and 100 Thieves next back on the board.
Really well played by the side of Fnatic and Insanity. Just textbook Jimmy too far up, able to find the punish, and that's going to buy some time for 100 Thieves next to get back in this game. As I said, time, not always the friend of 100 Thieves next here. We really like the scaling that 100 Thieves Academy has as we move forward, especially given all the gold that Wixie already has in his pockets, but those are the plays we need to see. Lee Sin syncing up with these sidelanders, Camille LeBlanc. That's how 100 Thieves next can make plays, can get back into this game. Good to see them identify that, execute it properly.
Execution is the name of the game, and I think for 100 Thieves Academy, they were okay taking some of these skirmishes, leaning heavily on the bottom side just because plays were given their way. But I think this is a huge resurgence for 100 Thieves next, where we were talking so much about the early game in just before the draft, but as well as because of the draft that they've chosen. But we've seen Insanity in mid lane actually be doing pretty well against Jimmy, and at least in the trades. And when he gets focused, they do put a lot of resources that way. It can work out in some big picks for 100 Thieves next. And here on out, I feel like that's really the way you have to go. You're sitting almost 3,000 gold down, and with all this pressure in the mid lane by 100 Thieves Academy, that's really the only way into a fight.
Speaking of the mid lane, we do see the Herald drop and Sword.
Fnatic just playing little footsies there with the rest of 100 Thieves Academy. Sniper on the side, though, does choose to engage. Has found the Hextech ultimatum onto Wixie. Here comes the rest of 100 Thieves next. Insanity goes right onto Wixie.
Oh, yeah, Wixie.
But you got resets from Kenvi here, and now to 1-for-1 trade. But going under tower here, Sniper kicked back and dragged out. Kenvi gets another reset, and here comes the Camille from 100 Thieves next. But it's 100 Thieves Academy come out with the fight.
And I feel like the attempt from 100 next, it's the right idea, right? It's picking up Wixie. That Hextech ultimatum split the Tom Kench from the Jinx, and you can see Busio is still sitting on his ultimate, was never able to get in range to use it on the Jinx, but I feel like 100 Thieves Academy are too far ahead, and once they get Gamsu in the fight, there is no angle, no chance that 100 Thieves next has to actually win that one out.
It is so difficult. You saw Insanity literally just pushed the go button. It was like, we are not walking away from this fight without killing Wixie. And at least you get the redemption in that fashion. We'll get a replay of that one.
Yeah, and again, Gamsu was just spotted bot, so they know they have a 5v4 here briefly. And I like the plan, right? I mean, the Hextech ultimatum, it did split the Jinx. It did open up that window where they can get on the big carry 100 Thieves Academy. Once Gamsu's able to join, that fight just took too long for 100 Thieves next. It gets turned on. Some good play, good presence of mind from 100 Thieves Academy and Gamsu to make sure that he was joining. able to play that fight out nicely. And props to Kenvi and also just having a fantastic Viego game. This guy, such a powerful individual player mechanically, someone who always skirmishes, fights really well. Got to see some of that in that fight as well.
Yeah, it's called the GOAT of Academy for a reason. The guy has been a stellar standout in every split it feels like he's been a part of, even in the weaker moments of 100 Thieves Academy throughout the regular season. It's playoff time. It is best ofs when it really comes alive, and I think that this team as itself showing the strength through Kenvi and the rest of the team is so important moving forward.
You see all the pressure that 100 Thieves Academy has at the moment around this top inner turret. I also like how Busio just dipping into fog, threatening that he could engage at any point, but now
here comes 100
play
next.
Protection against Wixie because we have a TP coming in. They want to fight.
They take the engage early here. Depth charge does connect onto Wixie, but they can't get any damage on Busio's tanking up a storm. Here comes the TP. The Wombo combo, though. Insanity goes on a rampage now. Sniper on the back gets Wixie, and this is the fight for 100 Thieves next. But look at that cask. It does not save the day for Kenvi, and one by one, 100 Thieves Academy are taken out to task here. Kamsu able to make it away. Jimmy still trying to retreat, but big heads-up play from 100 Thieves next.
And I love the call from 100 Thieves next because look at the TPs on their side. They used both from the soul laners. They knew that Gamsu was down. They knew that he wasn't going to be able to join the fight. So when you see Gamsu mid, you have that ward behind. Sniper starts the party. And I love how they split up the Tahm Kench from the Jinx. You can see it was between that depth charge, the dredge line. They got Tahm Kench separated. Lucio was frontlining. It's not what you want to do. You want to be standing behind the Jinx. So just really good play, really good presence of mind from 100 Thieves next to know that even though they are down in gold, they are down in the positioning on the map, they had the angle to find the fight. They burned the resources they needed to burn in those TPs. They were able to find the angle and get themselves back in this game.
It's all about keeping your mental strong, keeping momentum forward itself. And Insanity got 4 kills now on the block. It wasn't the early game we wanted. It wasn't that early draft that execution that we wanted from 100 Thieves next, but if it comes, it comes, and you're now within 2,000 gold lead just about, where these picks are starting to come alive. Does still have to be mentioned that 100 Thieves Academy have an incredible late game team fighting squad, but if you can start get these picks off the back, if you can get Wixie out of the fight early on, that's the ticket.
And this is one where if I'm 100 Thieves next, I want to accelerate the game right now. I have Array, strongest item spike that you can find on the Xayah with that completed Mirror Mana and the Eclipse. The Sorrel is pretty nice too, but I think you want to fight now before the Jinx gets her hands on the Infinity Edge. And if I'm 100 next, you just found a fight, you just burned some flashes. You have this Nautilus, you can try and punish them. And at the moment, they're trying to reclaim control over this topside jungle and some of the waves. Props to 100 Thieves Academy. I think that their mission right now is to slow down the game. I don't expect them to start this Baron until they get that flashback up on Wixie. That's, I think, where they can start to maybe posture more aggressively and try and take control back against 100 next.
Well, and you look at the map, 100 Thieves Academy do have control a lot, at least in terms of vision. It seems like they do have a lot of that control around both objective pits, trying to make sure they can spot out 100 Thieves next in these pick opportunities that they cannot let happen anymore. And I think 100 Thieves next taking a very measured approach to clearing out this vision because they realize what strength lies in 100 Thieves Academy.
So Wixie has flash back up here in a couple seconds, and 100 Thieves Academy, they have pulled this Baron. It's now at half. Sniper is now pulled, but yeah, they don't want to stick it. And I like the posturing there 100 Thieves next, just making sure that, they weren't going to over-aggress. They weren't going to put themselves in position to get caught. Going to force the Realm Warp from Jimmy go defend the mid wave, and be back posturing around this Baron.
Yeah, just a little bit more vision clearing there. Nice little heads-up Realm War play from Jimmy and get the team quickly to the mid lane, but it'll just be quick resets across the board here.
And again, for 100 Thieves Academy, a big part of this game is stalling it out, slowing things down, getting some of these summoner spells back where, you have the tools to win the 5v5, which as time goes on, we favor them. We think that they will be able to. And I think them waiting for the flash of Wixie to come back up before they aggress, now waiting for Jimmy's flash, not the most important one in the world, but, nice tool for them to have. They're now back at the state where they're on this deploy onto the map, going to be able to actually posture and actually pressure 100 Thieves next now. Whereas if you're 100 Thieves next, I think it's still all about Insanity and Sword, syncing up, trying to push the pace, push the tempo, because this is the point of the game where they are strong, and they need to look for plays.
Yeah, you have to be connecting with Insanity at any point, right? He is the sword for 100 Thieves next. If Sword is not there. And
gonna be good.
we'll see that happen over the wall here. Devour does come out onto Wixie, save his life. Big heads up play from Busio. Ray getting caught out here, has to use the Featherstorm to get away from that Mega Death Rocket.
That's the power of Tom Kench. Good play from Busio. Even when him and Wixie go under terrain that is seen that LeBlanc can attack, able to save the Jinx and just reset and slow the game down, Mazel.
Yep,
that
that's all
really
you gotta
feels like
do.
the plan. Yeah.
That's the game plan, and it's been set from the draft because they did draft this very at least stalwart composition to get into that late game, especially.
Now, the one thing that 100 Thieves Next, when they won that team fight on the top side, really helped them out is that they were actually able to pick up a dragon. Now, we do have our 4th dragon of the game spawning here in a minute. This will be Soul Point for 100 Thieves Academy. There's Ocean Soul. Ocean Soul on a scaling team, especially when you're up against the poke of Azaya and the Blanc. That's going to feel pretty good, Michelle. And right now, 100 Thieves Academy have total control over this bot side. They're playing out this 4-1 really nicely. Going to even deny all these camps, going to crash. Really textbook play coming out of 100 Thieves Academy. You can see 100 Thieves Next. They are on the reset at the moment. So this might be their opportunity to try and get control over the mid wave. Try and posture a little bit stronger. Try and threaten this Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about the dueling fates of these two teams here as Gamsu actually sets up on the side here. Cask over the wall, though, isn't really going to connect on everybody. It does split the fight a little bit, but 100 Thieves Academy back off because of it. And what I was going to talk about is the dueling fates here between these two teams, right? The absolute indicative nature of 100 Thieves Next putting all their resources in the pick out tools of the Camille, Lee Sin, and LeBlanc. And on the other side, Wixie is the train that runs 100 Thieves Academy at this point with Ken V at the wheel.
Oh, this is actually an okay look for 100 Thieves Next. Insanity Sniper are trying to come at an angle, trying to collapse onto 100 Thieves Academy. I would like to see Insanity wrap all the way around, but not the case. Is Jimmy in?
He's tanky, though. Don't know if you want to connect onto it. Sword already goes down. Reset for Kenvi. Fnatic on the side here, waiting for the kick. Kick into him, though. But the resets from Kenvi are helping out. And look, nobody has been able to find the frontline damage here. You still have a Ray who is still alive, full health, but it's Insanity and Fnatic. Fnatic goes down. Insanity is trying to make it out now. Ray early flashing, but Jimmy is chasing him down. Cass goes out. The dive does not, and somehow Kenvi is back into the fight, almost full health. This is Dragon for 100 Thieves Academy.
And 100 Thieves Academy, I think the way that they retreated, they played around that fight was so good, and I wanted to give big props to Busio, because watch Fnatic. He's going to try and kick Wixie right here. Busio insta-eats him, prevents the kick flash, so Fnatic still has it. He lands a good kick on the back half, but then Kenvi just straight up wins this 1v1 duel using the vision, the flash. Fnatic's forced to go golden on the front side. The gold lead 100 Thieves Academy, it's just taking place. Jimmy able to press forward with that tank rise build, Mazel, you said, gets so tough to take down as the game goes on. 100 Thieves Next just don't have the damage to deal with Jimmy, and Jimmy was the one that keeps on pressing forward, making sure that Fnatic goes down to the backside, turning that fight back into the front to back. The 100 Thieves Academy wants. They executed that one very well.
He don't even need a kill, Cubby. He is just there. He is the rock, and the ship will crash upon it from 100 Thieves Next, because that dredge line definitely is one that Sword will want back, but it's still a huge pickup for 100 Thieves Academy themselves, as they are now looking at a tier 2 in the mid lane.
And I think this game, like, we've really seen some of the good moments from 100 Thieves Next. I mean, some of these team fights, Wixie's gone down every single one. That was the person they needed to take down. And we'll see if they can take down Wixie again as the TP from Sniper's out. It will be traded, but here we go.
He's about to die again, though. Big cast separates from Insanity, but they haven't gotten the kick yet onto Wixie. He does get kicked back, but the damage isn't there, and Sniper is left out to dry. 100 Thieves Academy moving forward now. Jimmy flashing. Featherstorm will not help you today, Array, as it will be another kill going to 100 Thieves Academy.
The attempt, the angle, they thought they had the play, but 100 Thieves Next, 100 Thieves Academy, that front line's just too big now. The Gragas, the Tom Kench, the Rise, it's so tanky. Just buying time for the Viego, the Jinx to get resets. And 100 Thieves Academy, they hold strong, they win the fight, and they'll take this Baron.
It's a big Baron pickup, a big increase in gold differential for 100 Thieves Academy. But again, I was setting it up before that last dragon fight, before all the chaos went down. But 100 Thieves next have that obvious point of, we need to get picks, we need to catch them out. But you start getting this strength of turtle coming through for 100 Thieves Academy, and it's almost impossible, even if you are connecting everything you typically need to connect onto the main carries.
And Kenby played that fight so well,
really
Mazel,
did.
like going golden, ulting backwards, and then just waiting to get that first reset, then the step back up. Really, really good play coming out of that stud jungler from 100 Thieves Academy. Someone that I know a lot of fans are excited to see go to the LCS stage one day, something we expect for Kenby. And as long as he's here, he is a threat. Good to see him stepping up against his sister team and really making sure that he's making his mark on this game.
Some towers traded, bounty secured, at least for 100 Thieves next, so they get a little bit more global gold in their pocket. But 100 Thieves Academy keeping on the pressure. They are in such a good position now. I mean, they have 3 items completed pretty much across the board, working on 3.5 for some of their main carries. Even with Jimmy having completed that Frozen Heart, it's so much harder for the damage dealers besides Insanity to really have anything to say against that. And even then, you don't really. I mean, the tankiness that's coming out from 100 Thieves Academy is what they drafted for, and it's coming to fruition because we didn't see that early proactivity from 100 Thieves next.
And maybe the death cap spike from Insanity, like maybe that's enough to make sure that, you know, they can find one of those kills, one of those big picks, and try and run a fight from there. But unless that's the play, or unless Fnatic's able to land a big kick flash, I think those are the two things that 100 Thieves next are really looking for. Or maybe just someone being caught in a side is Gamsu.
But look at Wixie. He is gotten onto by Insanity, but he's able to pop shots right back, and now it's the front to back.
Gamsu.
Beautifully set up for Wixie to just fire away the fish bones. He's not going to get, oh, he does get the double kill. He was stunned up, knocked up. I didn't know if he was going to be able to complete that one, but it's going to be a quick double kill into the tower, into the snowball, into game number 1 for 100 Thieves Academy. They are running away with this one, and 100 Thieves next, while they put up a fight, it could just end right here.
The scaling comp for 100 Thieves Academy, they had the better early game plan, Mazel. It paid off. It got them a good early game, and they were able to run with it despite the best efforts of 100 Thieves next.
There we go. They finally get onto the Nexus. Not going to find any more kills, maybe for the chagrin there, but it will be 100 Thieves Academy walking away with game number 1 of this best of 3 in dominant fashion. I mean, over 10,000 gold in the end. It is actually telling how they were able to pull that one through with the strength of their composition the whole way.
And I feel like, you know, a lot of credit goes to that early game plan, the fact that they were able to attack bot, but then from there, Wixie and Busio really ran with that in the 2v2, finding their own leads. And, you know, once they got to the team fight stage, that is a stage where 100 Thieves next is really good. We saw them try and use teleports, try and play the map to find winning angles. I thought that they had a few nice attempts, but unfortunately for 100 Thieves Academy, or for 100 Thieves next, 100 Thieves Academy held strong. And it was tough for them to just find the right angles because of how well 100 Thieves Academy were playing the map. Also, I think big shout outs go to Gamsu that game. The casks, his positioning, his placement throughout all these fights, just helping slow things down, split up 100 Thieves next, keep his carry safe. I thought that, you know, honorary mention goes to him. I thought he had a very, very strong game as well.
Yeah, I think honorary mention on 100 Thieves next side is to Insanity as well, and that LeBlanc, even without the early game advantage, still they'll find some things. But for me, going back to my Dark Horse conversation, Wixie and Busio, we've seen it. When they get a lead in bot lane, it is terrifying. And especially on Tom Kench for Busio. He hasn't had the greatest of performances ever on Tom Kench, right? We have had some questions about it, but being able to perform in these kinds of ways, and when you get a 20, 30 CS lead and a couple kills early on to make sure you can win through it, I think the entirety of 100 Thieves Academy are really showing up today. And it is telling. We'll see if 100 Thieves next can respond, though. We're going to send it to a little break, and I believe we have some mad magicalness on the other side of this one, so we'll be right back.